This video is about she lost his job, and the billionaire gave her a fortune. If this story inspires you, please like the video, share it with loved ones, and write in the comments how it touched your heart. She lost his job, and the billionaire gave her a fortune. The winter breeze whispered through the streets of Charlotte, stirring fallen leaves into whimsical dances. Raquel stood at the edge of the bustling farmer's market, her heart heavy beneath the weight of uncertainty. It had been 2 weeks since her husband, Ethan, lost his job at the tech firm. "Raquel, check this out," Ethan called, his voice bright and infectious, even in the midst of their struggles. He waved a flyer in the air, his smile radiating warmth. "There's a local coding boot camp starting soon. I think I should enroll." She turned to him, anticipation mingling with anxiety. "But what if you don't find a job right away? The bills are piling up, and I don't know how I'll manage." Ethan placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder, his grip firm despite the worry etched on his face. "We'll figure it out together. We always do." Raquel wanted to believe him. After all, they had faced challenges before. The long nights of studying while juggling work, the tight budgets at the start of their marriage. But losing a job in this economy felt different. It felt like uncharted territory. As she glanced around the market, the colorful stalls filled with fresh produce brought a momentary respite. She picked up a ripe apple, its sheen catching the sunlight, and took a deep breath, grounding herself. Just then, her phone buzzed. It was a message from her mother, checking in, asking if they needed anything. She typed a quick response, "We're okay, just adjusting." But beneath those words lay a tide of fear. Ethan stepped closer, holding another flyer. "I really think this is a good opportunity. If I can learn new skills, I can pivot to something better, right?" Raquel forced a smile, knowing he was trying to lift their spirits. "You're right. Learning is always valuable." Deep down, though, she feared the unknown. As the days turned into weeks, the weight of their reality thickened. Ethan dove into the boot camp, dedicating hours to coding while Raquel took on extra shifts at the local cafe. The long hours left her exhausted, but she pushed through, determined to support her husband and their little family. One evening, while she was washing dishes, lost in thought, Ethan entered, his eyes sparkling. "Guess what? I completed my first project. I coded a simple website." "That's amazing," Raquel exclaimed, wiping her hands on a towel, her heart swelling with pride. "You're doing it, Ethan. I knew you could." He grinned, but the joy was shadowed by the reality of their situation. "Yeah, but it's just the beginning. I need to keep pushing." Days turned into nights filled with coding books scattered across their small kitchen table, notes scribbled on napkins, and the soft hum of laptops punctuating their once quiet home. Raquel watched Ethan grapple with his new skills, and while she admired his resilience, she could see the frustration clouding his spirit at times. "Ethan, you're learning so much," she would remind him. "It's okay to struggle. This is hard work." As spring approached, the atmosphere shifted slightly. Raquel found solace in the blooming flowers outside, and slowly, a sense of hope began to unfurl within her. Yet, the strain of finances weighed heavily on her shoulders. In moments of quiet, she would find herself staring at the family photos that adorned their walls, echoes of a time filled with laughter, love, and dreams, still waiting to be realized. She couldn't shake the anxiety that loomed over their future. One afternoon, after a particularly long shift that left her weary, Raquel returned home to find Ethan hunched over his laptop, a frown etched across his brow. "Did you hear back from any of those applications?" she asked, her heart racing at the possibility. "No," he sighed, rubbing his temples. "I keep getting rejected. It's hard to break into this field without experience." Raquel sat beside him. "It might take time, but don't lose hope. You're learning, and that's what matters most right now." "I know," he replied, his voice tinged with doubt. "But it's hard to feel hopeful when it seems like nothing is working out." She wrapped her arms around him, wishing she could absorb his worries. "You are strong, Ethan. We'll persevere together. We just have to keep pushing through." Days blurred together as they both continued their respective journeys of growth and learning. Raquel's shifts at the cafe kept them afloat, but the fatigue began to take its toll. One evening, as she counted tips at the end of her shift, she overheard a conversation from a nearby table, a discussion about the local economy and job creation. She couldn't help but listen in. "Did you hear about the new tech incubator that just opened? They're looking to fund startups and support local talent," one woman said excitedly. Raquel's heart raced. Perhaps this was the opportunity Ethan needed. She leaned over and asked, "Excuse me, could you tell me more about that?" The woman turned, surprised but pleased to share. "Absolutely. It's a great initiative. They're offering resources for people like your husband." Raquel thanked her, her mind racing with possibilities. As she drove home that evening, she envisioned Ethan pitching his ideas and finally finding the validation he so desperately needed. When she shared the news with Ethan, his eyes lit up. "This could be my chance. I've been brainstorming some project ideas." "Then we need to prepare," Raquel said, excitement bubbling within her. "Let's put together a plan and practice your pitch. I believe in you." Over the following weeks, they poured their hearts into the project. They transformed their small living room into a makeshift office, filled with sketches, notes, and late-night brainstorming sessions. The laughter and lightness returned as they envisioned a future filled with passion and creativity. However, as the deadline for the pitch loomed closer, the pressure intensified. Ethan's fears resurfaced, hidden beneath layers of determination. "What if they don't like my ideas? What if I fail?" Raquel reached for his hand, squeezing it gently. "Even if they don't like your ideas, it doesn't mean you've failed. It means you've taken a step forward. That's what matters." The night before the pitch, they stayed up late rehearsing, the air thick with anticipation and anxiety. Raquel watched Ethan transform from a nervous wreck into a fierce advocate for his vision. "I can do this," he whispered, his eyes shining with newfound strength. "Yes, you can," she replied, her heart swelling with pride. "I believe in you always." The morning of the pitch dawned clear and bright, a fresh start filled with infinite possibilities. As they drove to the incubator, Raquel felt a surge of hope wash over her. No matter the outcome, they had already done something monumental. Together, they had fought against the odds. Ethan stepped out of the car, adjusting his collar, his nerves palpable. "What if they don't see what I see?" Raquel took a deep breath, recalling all their struggles and triumphs. "You've worked so hard, Ethan. Trust yourself and your vision. You've got this." As he entered the building, Raquel felt a shift in the air. No matter how daunting this moment felt, they had already begun writing a new chapter filled with resilience, hope, and the undeniable beauty of the human spirit. And sometimes, she thought, all one needed was a little push to embrace the unknown, a fortune waiting just beyond the horizon of their dreams. Kelby continued. She lost his job, and the billionaire gave her a fortune. Part 2. The air in the incubator buzzed with energy as Ethan entered the lobby, his heart a mix of exhilaration and dread. Rows of ambitious entrepreneurs milled about, their voices a harmonious blend of excitement and determination. Raquel stayed close by his side, her presence a comforting anchor amidst the chaos. Ethan took a deep breath, steadying himself against the tide of nervousness. "It's just a room full of people, right? Just like our practice sessions." "Exactly," Raquel encouraged, her voice bright. "They're here to hear your ideas, to be inspired by you. Remember why we started this. You have something valuable to share." As they made their way to the presentation area, Ethan's mind drifted back to their late-night brainstorming sessions. The laughter, the discussions about their dreams, all those moments when they felt unstoppable. But even with Raquel's unwavering support, the specter of self-doubt lurked at the edges of his mind. "Can I do this?" he whispered, more to himself than to Raquel. "Oh, course you can," she replied, her hand squeezing his reassuringly. "You're a brilliant thinker, Ethan. You've poured your heart into this project. Just be yourself." The pitch room was filled with bright lights and an eager audience of investors and mentors. Ethan's heart raced as he stepped onto the stage, the spotlight illuminating his figure. The audience fell silent, their eyes locked onto him. He took a deep breath, channeling all the encouragement Raquel had given him. "Hello, everyone," he began, his voice steady despite the tremor within. "My name is Ethan, and I'm here to present an innovative solution for streamlining community engagement in local businesses through a platform I've developed." As he spoke, Raquel stood in the back, her heart swelling with pride. The way Ethan animatedly described his idea, the passion igniting his words, reminded her of the man she had fallen in love with, the man who never backed down from a challenge. She could see the spark in his eyes, and it filled her with hope. The pitch went on, each slide of his presentation showcasing his hard work and dedication. He tackled questions with confidence, knowing that every inquiry was an opportunity to further illuminate his vision. He wrapped up with a heartfelt conclusion. The goal isn't just to create a profit, but to foster a true sense of community, one connection at a time. The room erupted into applause, and Ethan stepped down from the stage, exhilaration washing over him. Raquel rushed to his side, her eyes glistening with tears of joy. "You did it! You were amazing." I can't believe I just did that." He laughed, both exhilarated and overwhelmed. What if it wasn't enough? Raquel shook her head, her expression earnest. "You poured your heart into that pitch, Ethan. You showed them who you are. That's what matters." As they walked away from the stage, they were approached by a tall, distinguished man in a crisp suit. "Ethan, that was a fantastic presentation," he said, extending a hand. "I'm Blake Harrison, and I'd like to discuss your project further." Ethan was taken aback. "Really? You think so?" "Absolutely. I see a lot of potential in your idea," Blake replied, a smile of genuine interest lighting up his face. "Let's set up a meeting to talk about possible funding and mentorship." Ethan's heart soared. That would be incredible. As they exchanged contact information, Raquel felt a rush of elation. This was the moment they had been waiting for, a breakthrough that could lead to a brighter future. They spent the rest of the day networking, feeling the warmth of encouragement and connection. But as the weeks unfolded, the initial high began to wane. Ethan faced a barrage of rejections from investors, many citing the same concern, lack of experience. Each email felt like a crushing blow. Raquel watched him grow increasingly despondent, his hopeful spark dimming under the weight of disappointment. One evening, while they were curled up on the couch, Raquel felt the heaviness in the air. "Ethan, I know it's tough right now, but you can't lose faith. You're on the right path." "I just don't know if I'm cut out for this," he replied, frustration lacing his words. "Every no feels like a step backward." Raquel turned to face him, her eyes earnest. "You've already come so far. Remember how you felt after your pitch? You have so much to offer. This is just part of the journey. You can't give up now." "I wish I had your optimism," he murmured, running a hand through his hair. "I feel like I'm letting you down." "You're not," she insisted softly. "You've done everything you can. Every no is just a door closing to lead you to the right one. It's part of the process." Ethan's shoulders slumped, and Raquel reached out, taking his hands in hers. "You have a dream, and I believe in that dream. Remember how we faced challenges together before. We can do it again." He met her gaze, her unwavering belief igniting a flicker of hope within him. "You're right. I can't let this be the end of it." Days turned into weeks, and while the rejections continued to pile up, the couple maintained their resolve. They attended workshops, connected with other entrepreneurs, and sought feedback on Ethan's pitch. Raquel's unwavering support became Ethan's lifeline, guiding him through the storm of self-doubt. One quiet afternoon, as the sun poured through their apartment window, Ethan received a call from Blake. Heart racing, he picked up the phone. Hello? Ethan, I've been thinking about your project, and I really believe in your vision, Blake said, his voice rich with enthusiasm. I'd like to set up a funding proposal with you. Ethan's heart raced. You mean you want to invest in my idea? Yes, I see the potential for growth and impact. I want to help you make this a reality. Ethan's voice trembled with emotion. Thank you. I can't express how much this means to me. After hanging up, he turned to Raquel, who was in the kitchen preparing dinner. Raquel, you won't believe it. What is it? She asked, turning around, a hint of worry crossing her face. I got the funding. Blake wants to invest in my project. He rushed into the kitchen, his eyes wide with disbelief and joy. She dropped the wooden spoon and rushed to him, wrapping her arms around his neck. Are you serious? This is incredible. I can't believe it. But it's real, he exclaimed, laughing through tears. All those moments of doubt, and look where we are now. As they celebrated that night, they realized that it wasn't just about the funding or success. It was about the journey they had taken together. Every hardship had taught them resilience, and every doubt had underscored the power of love and support. Weeks later, as Ethan prepared to launch his platform, he stood next to Raquel, looking out at a crowd of eager potential users gathered for the unveiling. I couldn't have done this without you, he said, his voice barely above a whisper. Raquel smiled, her heart swelling with pride. You did this, Ethan. You fought for your dreams, and I was just lucky enough to be by your side. As Ethan stepped onto the stage, he felt a sense of calm wash over him. The journey had been long and fraught with challenges, but it had also been a testament to their love, perseverance, and the unbreakable bond they had forged through adversity. Thank you all for being here today, he began, his voice steady. This isn't just about a product. It's about building a community. Together, we can create connections that matter. The applause that followed felt like a warm embrace, wrapping around him like the love Raquel had given him throughout this journey. He was not just launching a platform, he was igniting a movement, one rooted in resilience, hope, and the beauty of the human spirit. As the crowd cheered, Raquel stood in the audience, tears of joy streaming down her cheeks. They had navigated a storm together, and now, standing on the brink of a new dawn, she felt that hope had finally found its way home. To be continued. ###. She lost his job, and the billionaire gave her a fortune, Part 3. The excitement from the launch had barely settled when reality began to set in for Ethan and Raquel. The initial adrenaline rush was soon followed by the daunting task of scaling the platform he'd built. Investors, eager for fast results, placed a heavy weight on their shoulders. They quickly learned that the journey ahead would demand more than just passion. It required strategy, resilience, and a renewed commitment to each other. Ethan, Raquel said one evening, her brow furrowed as they sat together at their dining table, now strewn with papers and laptops. What's our next step? We need to plan our outreach strategy. We can't let this momentum fade. Ethan stared at the screen, the excitement from the launch now feeling like a distant memory. I know. I didn't expect the pressure to be this intense. It's like we're racing against time. Raquel reached out, brushing her fingers over his hand. We've come this far together. We've faced bigger challenges. Just remember why you started this in the first place. This is about more than just profit. It's about community. Ethan looked up, her words sparking a flicker of hope within him. You're right. It's about creating something that matters. Let's brainstorm some ideas for our next steps. As they dove into planning, working late into the night, Raquel marveled at Ethan's determination. His passion for his project radiated from him, and she found comfort in the familiar cadence of their teamwork. Yet, as days turned into weeks, the challenges grew. They faced technical issues that slowed development, marketing hurdles that felt insurmountable, and endless meetings with potential clients that left Ethan feeling drained. One evening, after a particularly grueling day, Ethan sank into the couch, rubbing his temples. I don't know if I can keep up with this, Raquel. It feels like we're treading water, and I'm exhausted. Raquel knelt beside him, her heart aching at the sight of his weariness. Ethan, it's okay to feel overwhelmed. This is a massive undertaking. Remember the coding boot camp? You felt the same way at times, but look how far you've come. I thought things would be easier after the launch, Ethan said, his voice weary. But every time I take a step forward, it feels like I'm pushed 2 steps back. Raquel took a deep breath, grounding herself. What if we take a break? Step away from the screens for a bit. Sometimes, space can bring clarity. Ethan nodded slowly. Yeah, maybe you're right. I just can't shake this feeling that time is slipping away from us. Let's find balance, she suggested gently. A short walk, maybe? Or a dinner out? Something to remind us of the life we're building together, not just for this project. With a reluctant smile, Ethan agreed. They strolled through the quiet streets of Charlotte, the night air cool and refreshing. The city felt alive, yet peaceful, giving them a moment to breathe. Raquel leaned her head against Ethan's shoulder, feeling the tension ease from his frame. See, this is nice, she said, her eyes sparkling in the dim streetlights. We'll figure this out together. I know, Ethan replied, a hint of gratitude in his voice. Sometimes I forget that it's okay to step back and breathe. Returning home, the couple found renewed energy in their shared laughter and connection. With fresh perspectives, they tackled the challenges ahead, learning to embrace setbacks as stepping stones rather than obstacles. Weeks passed, and they continued to refine their platform and outreach strategy. They attended community events, connected with local businesses, and shared Ethan's vision with anyone who would listen. Slowly but surely, they began to build a network of support, and the community started to respond to their initiative. One evening, as they prepared dinner together, Raquel glanced at Ethan, who was chopping vegetables with renewed enthusiasm. You know, it really feels like we're making progress. People are starting to notice us. Ethan paused, looking thoughtful. I never imagined it would take this long to gain traction, but I can feel the excitement building. That excitement is contagious, Raquel said, her smile wide. And it's all because of you. Your drive and passion are inspiring. Thanks to you, too, he replied, leaning over to kiss her forehead. I wouldn't have made it this far without your support. Outside, the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple. Just as they were finishing dinner, Ethan's phone buzzed with an incoming message. He glanced down, his eyes widening. It's Blake, he exclaimed, his voice a mix of disbelief and excitement. He wants to meet again. He says he's been following our progress closely. Really? That's fantastic. Raquel's heart raced with excitement. They both felt the momentum shift once again. The next day, they met Blake at a vibrant cafe downtown, the atmosphere buzzing with energy. As they sat across from him, Ethan's nerves returned, but Raquel's reassuring smile kept his focus steady. Ethan, I've been really impressed with your platform's growth, Blake began, his tone genuine. I see great potential here, and I want to discuss further investment options. Ethan's heart soared. Thank you, Blake. I can't express how much your support means to us. I believe in your vision, and I think it could really impact the community, Blake continued. But we need to ensure you have a solid plan for outreach and user engagement moving forward. Raquel interjected. We've been working on that, creating partnerships with local businesses and community organizations to drive engagement. Excellent, Blake nodded. I want to help you refine that strategy and connect you with additional resources. Let's develop a more comprehensive plan together. As Blake laid out his ideas, Ethan felt the weight of uncertainty lift from his shoulders. This was the validation he had longed for, a sign that they were on the right path. After their meeting, Raquel and Ethan walked hand in hand through the streets, the world feeling vibrant and alive. Did you hear that? Blake wants to help us refine our outreach strategy. This could be the turning point. Ethan nodded, his heart swelling with hope. I never thought I could feel this excited again. It's like everything is finally falling into place. As the weeks rolled on, they poured themselves into their work, crafting a comprehensive outreach plan that captivated their growing network. They hosted workshops, engaged with local businesses, and received invaluable feedback from their community. The support began to swell, and little by little they started seeing tangible results. One sunny afternoon, while they were preparing their first community workshop, Raquel turned to Ethan, her eyes bright. "Can you believe we're finally doing this? This is the moment we've dreamed of." Ethan grinned, a sense of joy washing over him. "I can feel the energy in the air. It's electric." That evening, as they welcomed fellow entrepreneurs and local business owners into their space, Ethan took a moment to reflect on how far they had come. The faces in the crowd were filled with excitement and curiosity, and he felt a warm surge of gratitude for the journey they had embarked on together. "Thank you all for being here tonight," he began, his voice steady and confident. "We're not just building a platform, we're cultivating a community. Together, we can make a lasting impact." As he spoke, Raquel watched Ethan transform. The man who once doubted himself now stood strong, fueled by purpose and a vision that resonated with those around him. The energy in the room was palpable, and she felt proud to stand by his side. By the end of the evening, Ethan and Raquel had forged new connections, planted the seeds of collaboration, and witnessed the beauty of their community come together in support of a shared vision. The challenges they'd faced along the way had shaped them into resilient partners, and their love had become a powerful force against uncertainty. As they cleaned up after the event, their hearts filled with hope, Raquel turned to Ethan. "I'm so proud of you. We did this together." Ethan smiled, pulling her into a warm embrace. "You helped me see my potential, Raquel. I couldn't have done this without your belief in me." "This is just the beginning," she whispered, her eyes shining brightly. "We've built something beautiful, and I can't wait to see where it takes us next." Under the starlit sky, they held each other close, knowing that whatever lay ahead would be faced hand in hand. Together they had turned struggle into strength, and with every step they took, they were reminded of the beauty of resilience, the power of hope, and the unwavering spirit of love. Keto be continued. ###. She lost his job, and the billionaire gave her a fortune? Part 4. The days following the community workshop felt electric for Ethan and Raquel. Each morning, they would wake up earlier, fueled by a newfound enthusiasm that set the tone for their day. The winds of change had begun to blow in their favor, and they were ready to harness that momentum. "Let's go over the feedback we received last night," Ethan suggested one morning, his fingers tapping nervously on the table as he gathered his notes. People seemed really excited about the platform. Raquel smiled, pouring herself a cup of coffee. "I think it's because they finally see the impact of your vision, Ethan. You're creating something meaningful, something that can genuinely help people." He nodded, absorbing her encouraging words. The confidence others now placed in him had begun to lift a weight he hadn't realized he was carrying. "I just want to make sure I don't disappoint anyone. There's a lot riding on this. Remember how you felt when you pitched your project the first time?" Raquel smiled, leaning across the table. "Look where you are now. You're not just a hopeful coder anymore. You're a leader." Ethan chuckled softly, remembering how lost he had felt in the beginning. "Yeah, but it's like a roller coaster. One moment, I feel on top of the world, and the next, doubt creeps back in." "That's normal," Raquel replied, "especially when you're building something from scratch. Just promise me you won't let those moments of doubt overshadow all the progress you've made." "Deal," Ethan said, his tone lightening. "Let's tackle this together." As they delved into their plans for the next community event, the couple felt the thrill of collaboration, their minds dancing with ideas and opportunities. They decided to host a Tech for Good series where local entrepreneurs could showcase their ideas and collaborate with one another. The aim was to foster a sense of community while addressing common challenges. Weeks flew by, and the anticipation for the event grew. Local businesses began reaching out to partner, eager to join a movement that was gaining traction. Yet, the pressure to ensure the event was a success weighed heavily on Ethan. As the date approached, he found himself staying up late, meticulously planning logistics and presentations. "Ethan, you need to rest," Raquel said one night as she walked into the living room to find him hunched over his laptop, his face illuminated by the glow of the screen. "You're burning the candle at both ends." "I know. I just want it to be perfect," he replied, rubbing his eyes. "What if no one shows up? What if we fail?" Raquel took a deep breath, her heart aching for his resolve. "You can't control how many people come, but you can control how much heart you put into it. You've already inspired so many people with your vision. That's a victory in itself." He looked up, meeting her gaze, and in that moment, the warmth of her belief in him wrapped around him like a comforting embrace. "You're right. It's about the impact, not the numbers." As the event day dawned, Raquel and Ethan arrived early, setting up tables, chairs, and little decorations that reflected their shared vision. The atmosphere buzzed with excitement and a hint of nervous energy. "Do you think we should add more flowers?" Raquel asked, checking the arrangements. "I want it to feel inviting." "I think it looks great," Ethan replied, his excitement visibly bubbling over. "You've outdone yourself. It's like we're setting the stage for a dream." A steady stream of people began to arrive, and Ethan could feel the adrenaline surging through him. As they mingled, he watched with pride as Raquel connected with attendees, her warmth drawing people in like a magnet. "Welcome, everyone!" Ethan stood in front of the crowd, heart racing. "Thank you so much for being here today. We're excited to showcase the innovative ideas coming from our community and the potential for collaboration." The room erupted in applause, and for a moment, the pressure he felt melted away. He shared his vision, his voice steady, embodying the transformation he had undergone over the past months. Conversations blossomed, ideas exchanged, and the atmosphere filled with the promise of collaboration. After the first few presentations, a sense of camaraderie enveloped the room. Ethan felt a warmth spread through him as he witnessed the impact of their efforts. Local entrepreneurs shared their challenges, and the audience offered support and solutions, fostering connections that felt truly meaningful. As the event progressed, Ethan's confidence grew. He walked around, engaging with attendees, offering encouragement and sharing insights. Raquel stood by, her heart swelling with pride as she watched him thrive. Suddenly, a familiar figure approached, Blake Harrison. "Ethan, this is impressive," Blake said, surveying the room filled with animated discussions. "You've managed to create something special here." "Thanks, Blake," Ethan replied, feeling a rush of gratitude. "It's all about community support. We're building something together." Blake nodded, his expression shifting to one of contemplation. "I'd like to explore the potential of investing further. Your work is resonating, and I want to be a part of it." Ethan felt a wave of disbelief wash over him. "Really? That would mean so much. Your mentorship has already made a huge difference." The two men exchanged ideas, and Raquel stood nearby, beaming with pride. She could see Ethan lighting up with excitement, the flicker of doubt in his eyes replaced by determination. As the event came to a close, Ethan and Raquel mingled among the attendees, soaking in the success of their efforts. The feedback was overwhelmingly positive, and the connections made that day promised to grow into something beautiful. "Did you see the way people were sharing ideas?" Raquel exclaimed, her eyes bright. "They were feeding off each other's energy. This is exactly what we wanted." "I can't believe we pulled this off," Ethan said, his heart full. "Thank you for believing in me every step of the way." "Always," she replied, squeezing his hand tightly. "This isn't just your success, it's ours." As they ventured outside for fresh air, the sun dipped low, painting the sky in stunning shades of orange and pink. Ethan turned to Raquel, his heart pounding with emotion. "I couldn't have asked for a better partner. You've been my rock, and you've been my inspiration." She replied softly, her eyes glistening. Together, we've created something beautiful. But as the weeks unfolded, life began to test their resolve once again. Despite the event's success, Ethan faced a wave of criticism from a few within the tech community who thought he wasn't experienced enough to lead a project of this scale. Ethan sighed, scrolling through the comments online. I thought we were past this. Why are people so harsh? I'm trying my best. Raquel stepped closer, wrapping her arms around him. Don't let them get to you. Criticism can sting, but it can also be a chance to grow. Remember, every great leader has faced doubters. I know, he replied, a flicker of frustration lingering. But it's hard to ignore. I want to prove them wrong. Focus on the people who believe in you. You've already made such a difference, she encouraged, her heart swelling with love. Turn that energy into something positive. Use it to fuel your passion. Taking a deep breath, Ethan turned back to his laptop, determined. You're right. They don't define my worth. I'll show them what I'm capable of. Days turned into weeks, and the couple continued to work tirelessly, pushing through adversity while nurturing their dreams. They hosted more workshops, engaged with the community, and expanded their network, refusing to let negativity dim their light. One evening, as they celebrated another successful collaboration, Ethan turned to Raquel, his heart full. We've come so far, haven't we? It's incredible to see how our community has rallied around us. It truly is, she said, her eyes sparkling. We've built something resilient, and it's flourishing. Ethan took her hands in his, the weight of their struggles melting away in the warmth of her presence. I couldn't have done any of this without you. Your belief in me has been my guiding light. Raquel smiled, her heart swelling with pride. And you've inspired me every step of the way. Together we're unstoppable. As the sun set on another day, they stood hand in hand, gazing out at the horizon filled with endless possibilities. The road ahead remained uncertain, laced with challenges and triumphs, but they knew that together they could face anything. With love, resilience, and an unwavering commitment to their dreams, they embraced the journey, knowing that hope was always within reach. And as they stepped forward into an unknown future, they discovered that true fortune lay not in wealth or accolades, but in the strength they found in each other and the community they had created together. Tito be continued.